Alright, what's up y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of InTheImageClothingCompany. Today is the 21st of June, 2026. There's a jet plane looping. This is a video under our main side. Okay, one of the four sides to In The Image Clothing Company. The video's title here is How You Could Approach Push-Ups Naturally. Now, we'll talk about this because what are we, who are we, why are we in the Image Clothing Company? Well, clothing, the literal wording of anything physically placed onto the body, it just is always on us. The way that God clothes the fields with grass, clothing has to, at very least, stay centered, fit correct, things like joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts, and be made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. Everything's always only natural. Okay, unnatural just gets taken from natural things. Okay, and our bodies are just natural. So clothing, it just gets our bodies into chronic patterning. Years and years and years, right, of working around things like oversized clothing, imbalances, shoelaces, drawstrings. They're just ropes tied on or around the body. We can tie one side over the other and twist the entire body. But we've got pockets, zippers, buttons, seams that are just different or discrepant, left to right, front to back in the body. We have things like rotated seams and collar seams and a lot of things going on. Clothing's just the only thing physically placed on our bodies. Gravity's got the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies. Allowing the body to work. That's our slogan here under In The Image Clothing Company's main side, one of our fourths. So, we're only a clothing company for the sake of the human body's functioning. We discuss the anatomy of the human body in depth. We give a lot of free modifications in modern clothing imbalances and design. We've got clothing designs that are imbalanced, shipped across the entire earth in modern 2026 in ways that could have never happened in the past because we've just got technology for that to happen. We live in this unnatural, modern, man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. And there's so many things that just don't mesh with our bodies to begin with. And the thing is, you don't have to care about clothing at all. You don't even have to care to want to try to start to think you could maybe care about clothing. You don't have to care about fashion. But everything we do in our lives, we're doing it in and through our clothing. We have to address that first. It has to be fitting the body proper. It takes enough work for the body to just oppose Earth's vertical gravity pull down on it, to stay just working as this mechanical machine that is the human being by itself. And then we add clothing to the body and it can really, really, really damage the body. We get out of chronic patterning here under In The Image Clothing Company. Bone spurs and scar tissue in the body. When the body's just not working properly and things just get really altered over years and years and years, even weeks or months, but things like this go unnoticed for just about lifetimes, and people's bodies just get very damaged. There truly is only one way the human body could ever work. There's no possible opinion to that or claim. It's measurable mathematical truth determined by the shape and length of our own individual bones. The bones connect directly to each other through ligaments, and they do this very, very specifically the way they're shaped on the ends. And they'll never mesh any other way besides the only way they can just mesh together on the ends. So, there's a thin layer of cushioning called cartilage between these bones so they don't wear each other out. But if the body gets into a pattern of working, where we don't have just a nice inline, straight forward and back swinging of the arms or legs, but one side moves off to the side, and now the body's in an imbalance, well, damage. Okay, we live in a right-handed world. 85%, maybe even 90%, give or take, of human beings across the planet Earth in modern 2026 are right-handed. So we've got rotations to our bodies, internal rotation or external rotation, and our right side gets farther away from our bodies. It gets externally rotated. It gets dropped lower in a right-handed patterning because there's two sides to the body and there's a center line to it that meshes with Earth's vertical gravity pull. These universal laws that are outside of all of us that we couldn't have a possible say over. We discuss physics here under In The Image Clothing Company. measurable truth within the human being and how it works. All the human body is just a mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space that is our Earth. And it's just measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations. How bold is that? That's the absolute truth of the human being. People have all these opinions on how to train the body to get it to do something, but unless you change the shape and length of your bones through like a surgical procedure, it'll be impossible always, just as it always has been, to get the human being to do anything besides just what it does. Designed in the image of God, in the image of Jesus Christ, we are a clothing company for anything that clothes the human being. It could be anything at all. Glasses, hats, pants, tops, shoes, socks, undergarments. You put something over your shoulder, you're clothing your shoulder with it, right? Just to carry something like a bag even over your shoulder. It's just the literal wording. So, there you go. We give a lot of free modifications in clothing to allow the body to work. We'll always have good clothing available under In The Image Clothing Company, doing the baseline 3 things at least: staying centered, fitting correct, and being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. But we give a lot of understanding on how to just approach life. Free modifications, if you will, on how to approach life, just to not alter the body. So here's the thing, push-ups. We've got a video currently under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here that I filmed as the founder and leader for life of In The Image Clothing Company, me, Evan Strong, titled How You Could Approach Pull-Ups Naturally. Well, there's also one titled How You Could Approach Workouts Naturally, which was just more of a general explanation. But if you ever choose to gain muscle mass, musculature size by doing workouts and excessively working your body for a time, you just have to know, once you stop excessively working your body, just as every body who has one, or everyone who has a body, it always goes back to our own individual normal. There's a normal body temperature, always 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, a normal heart rate, the amount the heart beats per minute, a normal respiratory rate, the amount the lungs breathe per minute, and a healthy balance of fat content versus muscle mass, a healthy amount of food versus water, which is just fuel versus lubrication in our bodies individually. There's always a normal the body always resides in if we allow it to, if we can regulate our bodies. That's how they work the best. There's only one way they do work. Muscles connect to the bones through tendons, and muscles only pull. We pull muscles to close a hinge joint, but then there's opposing muscles that pull to extend a hinge joint. So there's always a neutral to everything in the entire human being. The whole entire body, and we discuss it very deeply and thoroughly when we discuss the anatomy of the human body under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. There's always a neutral to every single part of the human being. So we just reside our bodies in their neutral positions, and then we just move from there in life if and where needed. But a lot of people are doing a lot of workout routines and doing them in just random positions, trying to get their bodies to do things in just very random ranges of motion. The body only has the ranges of motion it does until the bones physically hit into each other and you are done. You will never possibly go anywhere else. You'll never possibly stretch the human being anywhere. The muscles always still connect to the bones in the exact same location. There's always still 2 sides to every function, or the human being wouldn't move. We discuss a lot of things that sound very different to what a lot of people are saying here under In The Image Clothing Company, but we say don't believe us. Don't believe me, Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. Don't believe any of our team members with any of our information, even any of our poodles, because truth is truth. Spoken or unspoken, truth is always truth. Blown or unblown, the wind is there. The wind noise makes an appearance a lot in our videos under In The Image Clothing Company, filmed outside like this around this time period. So it is what it is. Just meaning, we do this as we do it. Blunt, bold, raw, and real In The Image Clothing Company style. Now, I have no possible claim on this that could ever matter because you can measure it mathematically. There's only one way you could do a push-up, and keep your body in a neutral position. There's only one way the entire human being could ever possibly work, with Earth's vertical gravity pull meshing with the horizontal surface to the Earth. This is a 90-degree right angle, perpendicular angle. There's a center line to our bodies, the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. These are some of the things in the center line of the human being. The jaw stabilizes the entire body naturally, with musculature up to the crown of the head, down to some of these upper ribs, and out to the edges of our shoulders. And guess what? We are a clothing company. The jaw musculature goes through the collar of our top. We've got even opposing musculature from the center line of the human being at the spine, for example, to keep us vertical. We've got two opposing feet from the center that keep us vertical by gripping arches inward. There's only one way the human body could ever work. It's mathematics, and so much of it is just Earth's gravity. Now watch this. The arms, they get hung down with Earth's gravity in a neutral position. There's always two sides to every function in the body, and gravity rests us in our neutrals. Gravity pulls us into good posture. If the body's not altered, I couldn't claim it. So if we're standing up, the arms just hang down at our sides. The arms can come forward or they can come back, but there's always just this neutral position to everything in the entire human being. Okay, it's just the shape and length of the bones. So a lot of what happens a lot of the time when people are doing any kind of pushing motion, well, first we have to understand the human body only pulls. We're only pulling muscles on the back side of a hinge joint to extend a hinge joint when we think we're pushing. There is no such thing as pushing the human being can physically possibly do. Like this, extending the elbow, it's a pull. We're pulling muscles that connect from the elbow joint up to the shoulder area. There's just a lot of muscles that go into just pushing like we would do in a push-up. It's a pull. Okay, we think it's a push. We're just extending a hinge joint by pulling muscles. But there's also always just this neutral position to everything. And when we stand up, the thumbs point straight forward, resting at our sides. From there, we have internal rotation or external rotation. The thumbs will come in or the thumbs will go out. But with this happening, if we're going to do a push-up, if we're going to answer this video's title under In The Image Clothing Company's main side on the 21st of June 2026, how you could approach push-ups naturally, well, we're always hanging our arms down at our sides, and our arms always point forward at the thumbs. If we pull our thumbs inward with internal rotation, as we walk, our thumbs would hit our own sides. If we bring our thumbs out in external rotation, as we walk, our arms would just not be in a normal position. It would pull our shoulders forward and the whole arm in external rotation. But the thumbs always point forward at our sides when we walk. So we'd reach our arms straight out in front of us, and this would be neutral at the thumbs from internal rotation to external rotation. So we straighten the elbow between the hand and the shoulder, and the hand essentially becomes the shoulder. They've been the same thing the entire time, but they will always do the exact same thing. When locked out at the elbow between the two, the hand and the shoulder do the same thing. So in a push-up, we're doing a lot of bent elbow motion, but we have to keep that neutral thumb forward. When the arms hang straight down, the thumbs are forward. When we bend the arms, the thumbs point straight up. You can do a push-up or any kind of push type motion with your thumbs rotated in an internal rotation, but then you'll go through the rest of your entire life standing, walking, sleeping, everything you do with your thumbs pointing straight forward or straight up when the elbows are bent. So it's not going to help you to be an internal rotation with your thumbs pointing in and do a pushing motion like this. Try to stand up and walk like that. You'll never do it anywhere that's even semi-comfortable or natural. You'll be damaging your body. We could do pushing motion in external rotation, and that's even more awkward in ways, just anatomically, the way the body's bones connect. But there's a neutral. There's always a neutral position to everything in the entire human being. So no matter how many pushing motions of anything you'd ever try to do, you'd like to do in internal rotation, you're halfway imbalanced from the neutral, and there's external rotation on the other side. So don't. Do everything in a neutral position, because then you'll continue through the rest of your life in a neutral position. There's only one way the human being stands and walks, and there's only one neutral. We could explain it as where your thumbs will point. It's forward, okay? With the arms down, with the arms bent, it's up. So that's a big point. We're going to do push-ups, if we're going to do them naturally, or any pushing motion ever as a human being, in a neutral position, okay? Between the two sides of rotations, internal versus external. But now we're pushing just to come back to a neutral, and we can push from a deeper range of motion to the neutral. Here's the thing, as I was saying, Earth's gravity, the arms always just hang down at the sides. The elbows stay at the natural waist, above those hip bones, but below those lowest ribs. The only way we can bend side to side without a foot coming off the ground or the pelvis coming off the ground, at the lumbar spine. The lowest third of the back is how we bend side to side. It's where our elbows sit so that there's a place for them to be, and we can still just bend side to side at the spine. Front to back, though, there's a neutral where the gravity of our planet Earth hangs the arm straight down. If I were standing up, the pendulum of my hand at the other end of my shoulder just hangs straight down with Earth's gravity. From here, you can swing your arm forward, or you can swing your arm back. But gravity will just rest your arm from the top of the shoulder straight down with gravity, just straight down. So, when we're doing a push-up or any pushing motion, if we just start from the neutral, front to back, at the arm hanging with Earth's vertical gravity pull, and we just push forward and come back to the neutral, and keep doing that, forward and back to the neutral, we're only on half of our range of motion, front to back. So we need to use all the full range of motion that always has and does exist in the human being. From the time you're full grown, you've always got the same full range to all the motion in your bones. It's just there before they hit into each other. And you can never gain any or lose any other than being within patterning that we can rid if you have limited access to the range of motion that always exists, because it's just determined by the shape and length of your bones. They don't change, really, once you're full grown for the rest of your life. So we need to use this full range of motion from the neutral with the arms hanging with Earth's gravity, just straight down from the shoulder, all the way forward and all the way back. Okay, and we'll get all the way back to where our knuckles will be at the same level as our chest, because we're doing a push-up in this video. The explanation is for the push-up, and being on the ground with your knuckles in this neutral grip, okay, you'd only be able to go so far back with your arms until your chest hits the ground that your knuckles are on. So this would be your full range of motion all the way back. And we won't be going any farther than is healthy for the shoulders because, well, God designed the body to work. And once the chest hits the ground, you're still at a good angle on your shoulder. You could go farther, like in a dip maybe, or with 2 bars, and you could put a too sharp of angle on your shoulder and hurt the tendons in your shoulder. But your chest will stop you by hitting the ground at your full range of motion until you get there, as far as you could go because the ground's there, and then all the way straight until the bones just can't physically possibly go anywhere else without hyperextending or going the opposite direction of the way they bend. Okay? So this is how we do a push-up naturally. Now, another point is the width. The hands will be just straight out from the shoulder because when we lock the hand out from the shoulder at the elbow between the two, it's just like there's a line right down the center of the entire arm, and we pivot around that when we rotate the whole arm from the fingertips up to the shoulder. And where this is between the 2 bones in the forearm, the radius and ulna, that allow for rotations when the elbow's bent, internal and external rotation. The outer 2 fingers correlate with the ulna, and the inner 2 fingers correlate with the radius. So even distances left and right at the hands as at the shoulders, and then just straight forward as far as not too far up or too far down at the hands from the shoulders. And we will go all the way back till our chest will touch the ground in this neutral grip with our thumbs pointing forward essentially, but with the elbows bent upward. And then we will go all the way straight until our elbows lock out, but without fully locking them bone to bone, just so that we don't mesh the bones with all the pressure of the weight of our body on them. You'll just get very, very close to fully locking out your elbows, and then come all the way back and touch the chest to the ground. This is how we will do push-ups naturally, okay? So remember, there's always textured earth. We've got a lot of flooring, man-made, that's unnaturally flat, unnaturally slippery. Our hands grip with these different length fingers that wrap evenly around our different length opposable thumb that plays an entirely different function than the fingers. The open palm and internal rotation is the video's title under In The Image Clothing Company's main side here. There's this rounding or openness to the hands because of the different length fingers. When the fingers are straight, they're different lengths. When we bend the fingers, they are flat on the tips. There's a lot to the anatomy of the human body. This is how I can say it so confidently and so boldly. Don't believe me. And then also couple that with there is only one way the human body could ever work, because there's a lot of things we miss within the human being if we don't understand it. Now, when we get into our push-up position, we have to remember we have different length 5 toes within this universal human design. So we roll evenly off the ends of our 5 different length toes within the human being, and in that position, we will be kind of slightly pointed inward at the feet, because the feet are neutral, straightforward from the pinky toe, just as the pinky finger is straight out the outside of the forearm, down and out that neutral wrist. Then we have internal rotation or external rotation from that neutral position in the feet. So we'll have even pressure across the different length toes. They slightly come up and in like an arrow to the center line of the human being, putting even weight off the ends of our different length 5 toes, having our thumbs pointing straight forward. Full range of motion all the way till we get almost fully locked out at the elbows when we straighten and push, and then all the way back till our chest will touch the ground, and even distances at the hands as the shoulders, even from up or down, just straight forward from the shoulders. And there you go. I'll do a few here, and this is how we would approach doing push-ups naturally. For the anatomy of the human body, no kind of opinion on any way you want to try to train push-ups or train a pushing motion, but the only way the human being's bones connect. Here's your explanation, okay? So, you'd be in a neutral grip, even weight on the end of your different length 5 toes, hands straight out from the shoulders. We go down, we come up, we go down, we come up. Okay, that's how you would approach doing push-ups naturally. And really, the intentional titling of In the Image Clothing Company's videos, how you could approach push-ups naturally. Because, as I said at the beginning of this video, we all have to remember, no matter how much muscle size we gain or musculature strength we gain, the human being always goes back to its only individual normal after we stop trying to gain this excessive strength or size. So, thank you. Check out the other 3 sides of In the Image Clothing Company if you'd like to. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, In the Image Clothing Company Music, and In the Image Clothing Company podcast with discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ.